Hey guys, and welcome back. This is Chosen Architect. Today we're going to be jumping back into some more Create Astro, where today we're going to be automating some things in the sifters, setting up this awesome cobble gen, and even automating the sifting of moonstone. Hope you guys are ready. So today we get into sifting. That's what we're going to be working on today. And also, by the way, don't forget, if you are a supporter of any tier, be sure to hop on the Discord and make sure your account's connected so you can get access to the world download. The world will be available for download today as it is episode 20. Now let's talk about sifting and more resource generation because I probably should have had this started a long time ago, but now's a great time, I guess, to start. But this is the sifter, right? So this is, of course, one of the ways that you can generate mob resources. And one of the resources we are definitely going to need later on down the road, from what I was looking at, is bone. We're going to need bone to turn into bone meal to use for multiple different farms. We're going to need bone meal to turn things into grass, or to grow grass and then harvest that. We're also going to need bone to make calcite. So many different things are going to need this bone. Now, you guys have been yelling at me, as you can see this requires saying, you guys have been yelling at me, hey, watch Tango Tech's video on how he set up a cobblestone generator. And you know what? I gave it a look-see, and it is absolutely genius. It is so fantastic. Now, I'm probably going to make a scaled down version of that to fit into this area, but it's still going to be quite a bit of cobble, as I'm going to make one that generates in a 3x3x8, or 3x8, I guess you could say. And then that's all going to lead down into a container. That container will then disperse the cobble through our multiple machines. And wouldn't you know it, it is just the right amount of items that we're going to be making today, right? Because I'm going to be getting into the sifter, we're going to be generating 5 items here, potentially. As you can see, it's going to require a lot because it's such a low percentage, but we should be able to speed these up and sift pretty quick. So we should be able to get items out of here. But if we also take a look at moon sand, this is a very important one as well, because we can actually get Certus quartz dust, glowstone, and gunpowder from it, which is fantastic. Now, moon sand takes a little bit to get into, and unfortunately, we can't use the style of farm that we're going to be building with this particular one. So this one's going to be a little bit more tedious, as we're going to have to use drills for this to work. Now, currently, I'm planning out the build, so this is actually going to be our item vaults. That's going to go here. It's going to be a 3 wide item vault that is a 2x2. On top of that will be the funnels. And so this means that with the funnels going here, that our build needs to start right about this height right here. So this will be where the items flow. They will flow 8 blocks and land into this. This will be the start, so the floor will be right here, right? And underneath this, we are actually going to be hooking up pumps. Yes, we are going to be utilizing pumps, and they're going to go right here. Now, the other blocks, let me think. This is actually, well, this is where the waters, this spot right here is going to be the floor of our contraption. The floor of our contraption. And then underneath this is where the pumps need to go. So contraption floor. This right here is going to be the edge of our contraption. Like this. And then on the sides, I'm going to do what Tango did in his video and put chests on the sides here. Not full blocks like you see right here. We are going to utilize chests. Even though this is completely filled underneath. We're going to be basically shuffling this thing left to right over and over again. So this is our outer wall. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's where the water's going to move. And then the chests will go right here. Actually, I don't know if I want to make them full. Probably not. We'll make them the same way they were. Hold shift and get these. And this gives a the items something to kind of run against and not get stuck on. Would it work as well to have a solid block here? I don't actually know. I don't know. Because when this rotates back and forth, the items can get stuck on these blocks, causing things to get a little wonky. Now, We are going to need a sequence gear shift, a sticky mechanical piston, and a stockpile switch, all for this to be able to work. And that's basically it. The stockpile will allow us to shut this off because we don't want to leave this running if we can't keep up with it. So we'll see if we actually need the stockpile or not, depending on how this all works. All right, so with this, we need to get water in here. And at the bottom, we need to get our pumps hooked in. So the hole underneath is going to be set up with some pumps that we're going to try and pump lava to. And I don't know. I don't think this actually consumes the lava. We just need it in the pump. Now I have most of the stuff set in, and you can start to see everything sort of coming together here. As you can see up here, we have our chests. This is it should work. I have this hooked up so that way I can put lava in here, and hopefully that'll be enough to get this to function. And I'm hoping this actually will work. I'm kind of weary about how I'm going to get lava into it. It shouldn't consume it, but let's take a look now at how we are going to actually set up the piston. So let me get this rotated like this, and this is going to be connected to this right here. And then we're also going to need to extend this by 1. So if I search up piston, I will have an extension pole. I only need 1 extension pole because we're going to be sending it 1 forward and 1 back. So just once. And then this will be hooked up to a sequenced gear shift that will be changing the way this is working and rotating. We're going to set this up here in a moment. Now, we also need to get rotational power to all this, and I don't know how much we're going to need, but we might want to use yeah, we're probably going to need 2 different speed controllers for sure for this. Now, it looks like this should work. I do have a little bit of a problem trying to figure out what direction all these arrows are facing that are on the inside of this. Because it looks like I'm going to have to rotate several of these. I can't really see the direction that's facing. It doesn't give me any indicator. But we need these all facing up. And so with it rotating like this, they're all kind of facing different directions. And it's really hard to tell, especially that middle row. Now this should be technically done. I have rotational power sent to it. Now this is the gear shift. I actually thought I was going to need a sequence gear shift, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, actually no, I just need to give this a redstone pulse. Now, once this does receive a redstone toggle, when this receives a redstone toggle, it's going to push this from one side to the other. And that's what we want. We want this to change the rotation direction. So now at the moment, it's not going to do anything, right? Because it's just going to push this one block, right? Well, we need to fix that. And to do that, it's actually pretty easy. We're going to connect this block all the way over here to this block. Now this becomes all one unit. And then down here, I'm going to actually connect, if I can get up, I'm going to be connecting the block that this is on. Hopefully I can reach this block to this block. And that's as simple as that gets, right? And now, when I rotate, you can see the cobble there actually goes a little crazy. But that should be functioning. I don't know if we have enough to cause the whole thing to kind of go. Oh, it does seem like this, on the corners, this is probably going to have to be a chest as well here. Because it will not go in otherwise. But we're learning. See, we're learning. See, it does go in though. But yeah, now that I see this, it will have to be a chest here. We can make it, I don't like it being a solid chest. Because it will disconnect from the main setup here because of that. So let's actually just make it a solid chest. And this should work. This should work. This will be pretty nice. I don't know now if all of the cobblestone is ready to go though. Only one way to test. And that is to, I guess, have this break and have this send out all the cobblestone. And see how much it actually sends out. It looks like it, yeah, it's definitely doing the whole thing. Off of one single bucket of lava I put in that tank, by the way. 1 bucket of lava is all I put in there. So it took me a healthy minute to figure this out after having some trial and error issues happen where items were just spitting out everywhere, right? So this is the final design now that it is all up and running. Now, this may be the same problem you might experience, so let me kind of tell you. If you go to make this larger, give yourself extra space on the side that's not connected up to the pumps that will not be generating the cobblestone. Because the blocks just spew everywhere. Like, they just go all over the place. So I have like a pile of cobblestone that's slowly been deleted. I've been just tossing all the cobblestone off away from here. But up here, if I can demonstrate, I put these slabs to help prevent, but the only section that is actually getting cobble is this part right here. Oh yeah, we also apparently cobble gets thrown here as well. I feel like I maybe should put this one down into the ground. That would probably prevent that, but I'll do that here in just a second. But yeah, other than that that being the only issue, this should work pretty good. It's actually not dumping items. I moved this back 1. That way I could put items along the backside. Because if you don't have the area blocked off, the blocks will somehow seep through. And I used glass so I can see it jumping through. Let's go ahead and demonstrate. You can see now that they work. They work just fine. I also had to extend this, but yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just lower this down 1, and that should work. Oh yeah, you may be wondering about this new addition over here. I did simplify this a lot, and I really want to get a schematic out to you guys. So this right here I built before starting today's episode. It's basically a direct copy of what's over on the other side that I built. However, it's a lot simpler because I'm able to power all of my pumps and also able to power everything off of its residual power, which makes it a lot cleaner. As you can see, I just have all of these gears that are running, and then there's also gears that run directly under here to power this pump, and then I'm taking the power off of this gear to do the exact same over here, and a lot cleaner. I'm also using a crude storage to send the lava buckets up specifically. These two are both functioning off of this lava bucket, and it can only put the filtered regular bucket in. So it can actually be pretty fast over here, and the lava is always ready to go, which has been working out flawlessly. And it just adds, it's like 64,000 more stress units. I put them on their sides, spread them apart, so that way we can get all the power rotated together, and now we're all hooked up into the same power grid, which is providing all the power for this. And about to power what we're going to get into, which is taking this now, which we're going to set up the red zone signal here later. But for right now, we need to take this, and we need to feed this out to conveyor belts. And I was thinking of doing a direct conveyor belt line and straight into crushers right away. Now, all of this stuff is going to need speed controllers to really balance things out. But for right now, I just want to get the concept up and running. So the concept is going to be use as many of the funnels as we can right here. So this is going to pull out the cobble that's going to run down this belt. And then we're going to need one that goes onto this belt. That is then going to get crushed into gravel, then crushed into sand. And this should do this evenly, right? I think. Is it gravel to sand? Is this an even conversion? So crush gravel. And then gravel to sand produces flint and clay. So I'm going to have to figure out a good method of getting rid of those items off of this belt. I might have to move some shafts around. Or I guess I could just have this. Yeah, I could just pull off probably right here those two items and just get rid of them. We don't actually need them for this particular thing. But we do need the sand, because the sand is then going to get sent over to here. And I was doing some testing to figure out how this works, and it is going to need to be filtered. And so we're going to have to filter this. But other than that, it should be pretty simple. Go ahead and get these on. And I don't know if I'm going to need this many. I hope I don't need this many, but we'll see. This will also need to be sped up and made faster. Currently, it's just hooked into here because I was testing it out. And these all have the andesite mesh I placed into them onto the top. And then that's going to run over to here. And all of these are going to receive a storage as well. So that should be just about it. Getting a redstone clock set up and getting this all filtered and tested out is going to be the big challenge, right? These will be output, and we also need to filter these items specifically. So I'll make 3 filters that specifically filter out that filter against sand, and it just won't allow sand to be pulled out. So I've got all of these prepped up. The configurations are now saved. This is rotating. It's getting the power from down here. I'm then sending to 2 gearboxes. And then these are of course the same setup, right? On a belt, these work fantastic on a belt. They always go the right direction. They go the same rotation as the belt when you do place down these gearboxes that are vertical, that are connected to the belts. This is running over here, which then powers this belt, and then this powers this belt. And that's pretty much it. I did add my filters here that are filtering out sand and blacklisting it. Now the only other thing left to do is to do a brass funnel, and I can place this really anywhere. I'm going to place 1 here for right now. Let's go ahead and have that disperse. I'm going to send a couple of pulses worth of cobble over there into that. That should head into there. You can see that is getting ground up. Now this is going to need to be way faster, right? So this is where a speed controller is really going to help. But this is doing a stack at a time. And then, I still need to set up the filter here for the trash. So I have my filter set up. This is now filtering out those 2 items. It goes into the barrel and then goes into the lava. That is a nice little trash method. Okay. So currently there's nothing left in here. So how about we get the pulse set up for this, the little redstone we need. Now for the redstone, we're actually going to utilize a little bit of Create to do this. It shouldn't be too difficult to do. We might have to rearrange this though a couple times. So to set this up, 2 pulse extenders from Create, and then a pulse repeater, and then we just give it a little bit of redstone. This is a very simple way of doing this. Now you do have to flick this lever. You can't just turn it on. You have to quickly flick it. And then what we can do is we can make it faster or slower. Got to be careful because we don't want it to burn out. But we can make it slower by doing this. So there we go. So once you get it set, we can extend it and make this a whole lot slower and figure out the exact tick delay that we want on this thing. Now I don't want this to be incredibly fast, but I do want it to be fast. And I'm going to have to figure out how to get this power into here. How do I get this to fit and fit here? So I think I figured out just the perfect place right here underneath the contraption, and then to toggle this on. And there we go. That's all we needed to do, is to just pulse ever so slightly, and that is a constant cobblestone generator. And this might be too fast. This is where that stockpile would come into play and would be kind of handy for this. So after some more configuration and setup with the speed controller, it's now up and running. Now this speed controller is at 64. Based on the current speed that this is going, I had to adjust because it has to be at just the right speed spinning this in order for the water not to pour out from underneath. So I just set it just right, and this is ticking just perfect to keep all of the items in line. I am probably going to put slabs on the whole top side just to prevent them from popping up onto the top. And then over here, I have this speed controller that is separate from the line. I separated the line here to run into the speed controller, and this is running at max. And so this is going as fast as it can go. And as you can see, I'm going to have to do some fine tuning here. So, and to sort of figure out at what point is too much. And I think that's where the stockpile switch is going to help me visualize that. Also, just realized I do have a little bit of an issue, and it's this right here. This needs to be a chest going there. I need to be careful jumping over that belt line that could have killed me. And then right here, because you can see they are falling in to the corner block And now there's nothing for them to fall into. Now with our stockpile switch, I should be able to see how full this is. But this can do a lot more than that. This is going to allow us to sort of adjust the threshold, right? We can go in here and, I mean, sort of let this set out a redstone signal depending on how far along we want this to go, right? So I believe at this current point, like if I had it here, it should be sending out a redstone signal, I believe. Or is it invert signal? No, it's like this. So let me go get some more redstone since I just tossed all my redstone. Might need to get one of these set up with like a redstone toolbox. So there we go. I got some redstone to sort of show this off. You can see right here, we have this redstone. We have this set underneath where it's currently at. And it's sending a redstone signal with this signal inverted. And so I can go ahead and say, okay, when this thing is 50% full, give a full redstone signal, right? And I wonder if I can tap into this line over here. What happens when this is fully powered? I'm wondering, with this fully powered, it's going to stay in its position. And we want to probably invert the signal, right? Invert the signal. And then what happens? Does it go back to being dead on the pulse or not? It looks like it is dead on the pulse. I was hoping that wouldn't be the case. So we invert that. That gives out a redstone signal, and then it's not going. Oh, I haven't saved the config. Save? Maybe I need to change this. Oh, okay. This is the lower lane. And this is like if it's under the lower lane. It's not related to the position of that chest. That was kind of confusing. Okay, so let's lower this down to where it's currently at. Let's go below. So let's just assume that it's full. Oh, it swaps over to the other lane. Oh, so that's the redstone signal. Okay. That's interesting. Now, this is interesting in itself. This is actually providing the redstone signal. I have this set even, right? And with that set even, it's going to provide the redstone toggle. We don't even need the redstone. It's doing it all based on how full this inventory is. And so it's going to swap back and forth, thus powering on and powering off, which is exactly what this needs in order to go, hey, give me some more cobble. That's pretty cool. I did realize where my bottleneck was at. It was actually right here. So now that that's spinning fast enough, that should start spitting out all the stuff. And look at that. We already got 12, 13 bone meal, 4 there. And that's exactly what I want to see. All of these individual components are now grinding up, and hopefully it grinds it fast enough. It doesn't seem like we're using very much cobble at all doing this setup. So in between the last segment and this, I did a thing. I want to try this out. Let me know what you guys think. I went ahead and took the time, which took close to 2 hours, setting all of this up because I spent most of my time trying to figure out a better cobble gen than this. Now, I even tested out the baskets, and if you're wondering what we're farming, this is moonstone. So the moonstone has to have a block underneath it, and that sort of limits you, but I wanted to keep everything in this space, so because of that, I am sort of limited. But hear me out. I think this is just fine. This is a perfect speed for what we have going on here. Now, this moonstone is being converted into sand, which is then being converted into Certus quartz dust, glowstone dust, and gunpowder. And then we also end up getting basalt every now and then. So that basalt is then being turned into ender pearls. So how does this work? Well, I was trying to use different setups for this. I could have used this in place of this funnel, but this funnel is just fine. And I probably could have got rid of the fan and used this, which if you're wondering is a basket. Inside here, I'll show you how this works. The face of it is like a hopper, but nowhere else pulls in items. Only the single block right in front. It doesn't pull any blocks that's one in front of it, only the one directly in front of it. So it could technically pull the items directly from here, but also a fan pushes it as well. which is just fine for me. Now, this can also be waterlogged, but the downside is it drains from the face. So I was trying to set up a cobblestone gen using this. It didn't work. I even took the time and tried to make a cobblestone gen using these for this. And you can actually waterlog these blocks and it will generate a cobblestone generator in a single block. But it was just generating cobble, even though it was on top of this. I guess it doesn't recognize that because it's a separate mod allowing this to function. I don't know, but that was the case. But let me sort of explain this. I have this stacking to 16. This is looking specifically for moon cobble, and that is running down this belt into this tunnel, which just moves it over so we could fit these wheels in. And then that is being actually beforehand, it is being blasted right here on the belt. So I have a filter taking the cobble, the moon cobble, turning it into moon stone. Then that moves along, the moon stone then gets crushed into moon sand, and then the moon sand gets put into a andesite sifter. The sifter then gives us Certus quartz, glowstone dust, and gunpowder. Now the residual of the basalt basically being done near the same way, except it gets just sent right to a sifter. So I have this that just gets moved over to this belt, and then I take it up so that way it is out of the way, even though it does look like it's glitched in there. And then it just ends up going over here and generates. Now, on these filters, like I said, these sieves, early on, we figured that out. These sieves, we have to put a block filter in here to block out the material you're sending in. So that way you only get the things that it's done sifting. If you're pulling from the side anyways, I don't know about the bottom. But other than that, this is the setup that is generating Certus quartz dust for us, which was one of the things I really wanted to set up. I was either going to automate the production of it, which was going to be a lot more complicated, or we can just generate the resource, which is phenomenal. Well, with that, guys, what a crazy, crazy episode today has been. I mean, talk about a cobblestone generator, and it is turned way down right now. I have this thing going so slow, but it's just wrecking even right now. I think later on we'll end up using this as our primary cobble gen and figure out some way to transfer this around the base better. But for right now, this is great. I'm going to use this in the future. Man, Tango really, really showed a fantastic cobble gen, especially for a pack like this. It really relies on a bunch of cobble. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to click that subscribe button. Also, if you're a supporter of any tier, be sure to get your world download. Of course, I think it's time to thank the supporter of today's video. And that, my friends, is going to be a big thanks going out to Patrick here. Thank you so much for your amazing support, by the way, over on the Discord, becoming a Discord premium member and supporting me in one of the best ways possible. I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have been amazing. I'll see you in the next one. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.